Hello students, welcome to the solution video of Cyclic Test 2. The subject that we're going to discuss is Commercial Studies or CS. Now this was a 30 marks paper, right? Unlike a Cyclic Test 1 paper which was of only 20 marks, right? Now students, the portion that this paper covered included commercial and non-commercial organization. It included chapter profit and non-profit organization, sole proprietorship and Hindu undivided family business, and also business activities, right? Now, this paper was also divided into two sections. It has section A and it has section B. Now, under section A, you had only one main question with 5 sub-questions carrying 2-mark weightage each, and therefore your section A totals up to 10 marks of the paper. On the other hand, section B, you had 3 main questions this time, unlike your Cyclic Test 1 paper. Okay, here you had 3 questions. Now, out of these 3 questions, you had to only attempt 2 main questions. Now, these 3 main questions, that is question 2, question 3, question 4, had 2 sub-questions under each of them, carrying 5-mark weightage each, which means that your section B was of 30 marks, right? The questions were asked 30 marks weightage. Section B had 30 marks weightage, but out of those 30 marks questions that was offered to you, or the option that you had to only attempt for 20 marks, which means out of the 30 marks questions given to you, you have to only attempt 20 marks question. Okay, so your section A comprised of 10 marks, which was compulsory. In section B, you had 3 questions, 3 main questions, totaling up to 30 marks, but you had to attempt only 2 main questions, totaling to 20. And therefore, your section B comprised of 20 marks. So this was the weightage distribution of the paper, right? Now, moving on to how to solve the paper. Now, like I mentioned in the previous video also, you have to first write the section that you're attempting here, section A, then write the question number and the sub-question number. Now, what is the main aim of human activities? So students, you can first write a sentence wherein you explain what human activities actually are, and then you can write the aim of human activities. Now here, while writing that, the key points that you have to keep in mind is earning money for personal satisfaction. So these are the keywords that you have to mention. Since it is the aim of human activities, it is either done, undertaken for earning money or for personal satisfaction. So these 2 keywords have to be there because human activities can either be economic or non-economic, right? So the motive can either be money oriented or it cannot be or it is not money oriented. So both of these terms, earning money and personal satisfaction, has to be there in your answer. Moving on to the next question, define the term organization. Now students, the term organization has to be defined, and therefore you will write the explanation, or you write the answer in exactly the words that are given in your textbook. You will not write anything in your own words, so you're not frame anything in your own words. It has to be exactly how it's given in the textbook, right? Now the important keywords in this answer is central authority, prescribed rules, regulations, regulates activities. Okay, and also the term organization, it is group of persons who have common objectives. So these are the keywords. First of all, there has to be this keyword, group of people who have common objective. Second of all, it contains the central authority, which prescribes rules and regulations, and secondly, it regulates the activities of the group, right? So these 2 sentences have to be there in your answer, and if you've written these sentences, then you score full 2 marks. Next, define what is a non-profit organization. Now again, this you can write as it is there in the textbook. Since it is a definition, you will write it exactly how the words are, or what words are used in the textbook. You will write, now the keywords over here are set up not to earn profits. This is a keyword here. Set up not to earn profits, but to help the society, right? Now, charitable organization, you can also add in examples to your answer. Like for example, here we have added charitable organization, educational organization, religious organization. You can add some examples to make your answer better and more effective. And you can also add one more sentence wherein you write the motive of these kind of organization. Now, the motive of these kind of organization is to provide welfare or improve the welfare of the people, but not to earn profit. So you can add that. Make sure you write at least 2 to 3 sentences of explanation for it. Now, the next question is what or define public sector enterprises. Okay. Now, what are public sector enterprises? You have to write it down. Now, define public sector enterprises. You have to write the answer. You have to write the definition of public sector enterprises, right? Now, what are public sector enterprises? They are the enterprises that are jointly owned by the central and the state government, or it can be totally owned by the central or just by the state government, or if both of them are together owning it, then the central has the central government has 51% of the stake and the state has the remaining 49%. So all of this has to be mentioned, right? You cannot just write it in one sentence like it's mentioned. It's shown over here. So this is exactly why it's shown here. You cannot write it in one sentence. You have to write all of these. You have to write take the words from the text and textbook, and you have to write down the explanation for this definition of public sector enterprise, right? So you will write all of that under it. Now, once you've written all of that, you earn your 2 marks. You can also add one more point if you wish to, that the motive of a public sector enterprise is not to earn profit, but to provide welfare to the public. So you can add as many points as you wish to. But whatever meaning or definition that you write, it has to be word to word. Now, what is Hindu undivided family business? Now, again, the answer. Now, this is something where your meaning of Hindu undivided family is asked, right? So you don't have to write a definition given to you by anybody. You can simply write this answer in your own words, whatever you have understood about Hindu undivided family, but make sure you write it is something that is owned, managed by a family. So these keywords have to be there. You have to mention the karta, you have to mention the co-partners. So all of these have to be there. These are the points or the keywords that have to be there in the answer. But the rest of the answer you can definitely frame in your own words, right? So 2 to 3, not such a big explanation is not needed. You can just write 2 to 3 sentences maximum, but make sure that the keywords are there. First of all, that it is something that is owned and managed by the family, Hindu family. Second of all, it is governed by the Hindu Succession Act. Then you have the Karta, who is the head of the family, handling and managing the whole business. And there are co-partners, who are the male members of the family, who are like an assistant to him, who help him carry out the business smoothly and efficiently. If you write this much, if all of these points are there, congratulations, you've earned your 2 marks, right? So we're done with section A. Now, when you start a new section, like I mentioned before, you started on a new page. You do not continue where you left off or where you finished your last answer of section A. So you take it to a new page, write the section name, that is, you write section B on top, and then you'll start solving. Now, first is question 2A, right? Now, since you have an option here, not necessarily all of you all have attempted question 2A, since you had an option. But since we are solving everything, I'll start with question 2A. So we'll write question 2A, that is your question number, and sub-question has to be written. Now, the first question is, what is sole proprietorship and describe its features? Now, see, again, now there are 2 parts of this question. So first you will answer the first part. What is sole proprietorship, right? So first you write what is the meaning of sole proprietorship. Now, since it is a meaning that is asked, since the word define is missing, you can write this meaning in your own words, but make sure that there is this keywords there. It is where one single person single-handedly owns the entire business, unlimited liabilities there, the management and the ownership is everything lies on the shoulders of one person. If all of these words are there in it, then yes, you score that. Now moving on to answer the next part of the question, describe the features of sole proprietorship. So when you start writing this answer, you will write the statement first. What is the statement? The features of sole proprietorship are, and then start writing your main answer with headers, right? There should be 5 headers for 5 marks, 5 headers in their suitable explanation. and you will number each of those headers and their explanation, right? Like it's mentioned over here, like it's shown over here. First point, second point, third point. It is important that you number your headings. The next question, that is question 2b, is explain private sector enterprises, explain its features. Now again, this is a question which comprises of two parts. So first you will solve your first part, that you will explain what is a private sector enterprise. You will say that there is something that is owned, managed and controlled by one single person, and their motive is to earn profit. There is no government intervention. Just these 2-3 lines you can write. Do not restrict it to one sentence because it is directly asking the question. So you have to write suitable 2-3 sentences to explain what a private sector enterprise is, and then go about and answer the next part of the question, that is the features of private sector enterprise. Right? Again, heading has to be there. You have to see, students, every time you write an answer, such kind of an answer in CS, even if in the textbook one single sentence is given to you, you will pick up and make a heading of your own. Even if the heading is or header point is not given in your textbook, you have to create your own header point and write the explanation. Wherever it's given, majority of the places in the textbook it is given, it's a good thing. But even the places, I'm talking for places where it is not there, where it's just sentence format. But no, you will not write it like that in your paper. You will create a heading and write the explanation. That is the format how you will write the answer in CS. Right, so this is the heading, private ownership and control, and this is its respective explanation or suitable explanation, right? So likewise, 5 marks, 5 points, 5 header points, and explanations to those 5 header points. Now question 3a, explain different types of non-profit organization. Now you can directly start with the different types of non-profit organizations are, and then start writing your answer. Or if you wish to add an introductory line, you can just in one sentence sum up what you understand by non-profit organization. That's not necessary, but if you wish to, you may add one sentence, not more than that. Do not waste your time behind it, because this is clearly not asked in the question. Right? So it's just something that you're doing extra to make your answer effective. But if you're doing that, just restrict it to one sentence, not more than that. And you mentioned the statement, some examples of non-profit organizations are given below. And then you write the name of the heading or the name of the type of non-profit organization, write what it is about, what kind of an organization that is, what is their task, what are their objectives. Then move to the next point, educational organization. What are these organizations concerned with? What is their task? Examples if you have any. And then the next point. So that is how 5 points for 5 marks you will write. Moving on to the next question, that is question 4a, right? Describe okay. Okay, it's not question 4a, but it is question 3b, right? So the next question is question 3b. Describe aids to trade. Now, students, this is a very direct question, so you will start your answer with aids to trade are those activities which facilitate or which help in buying and selling of goods and services, right? And then you write the statement, the main aids to trade are, and then write the different aids to trade. The heading has to be underlined, it has to be written, you have to number those headings, those types of aids to trade, and then write the suitable explanation. Again, since it's a 5-mark question, you will write it for, you will write 5 points for it, right, along with the heading and their explanation. Now moving on to the last question, that is question uh, question 4a. Now students, again, here you've been asked to write what economic activities are, and what the you have to write what economic activities are, and or what are the classifications, write in brief the classifications of economic activities. So you can start with writing that. The main category of economic activities are business, profession, and employment. Now here, since it is not a 2 mark question, you will not just restrict it to business, profession, employment, but you will explain in detail what exactly business is, what profession is, and what employment is. You could give examples also, which will do nothing but enhance your answer and have, you have more scoring benefit. So you can do that since there are only 3 points, but it is asked for 5 marks. So make sure that each of these 3 points, you do not restrict it to just two sentences, but you add adequate explanation and try to include everything that you know about business, everything you know about profession and employment, of course, from the textbook, and add examples of your choice. Now, the next question is question 4B. It says, discuss the merits and demerits of joint Hindu family business. Now, again, there are two parts under this. So you will write any 3 merits and any 3 demerits. Now, there is no compulsion as to learn a particular demerit and merit. You can choose any 3 merits and demerits that you wish to write. It's completely your choice, students, whatever you are comfortable with. But when you're starting with answer, first start the merits of joint Hindu family business are, and then write 3 points, and then again with heading and explanation of those 3 points, and then write the demerits of Hindu family business are, then write the heading and explanation, 3 demerits and their explanation. Do not mix up the merits and the demerits. Please write it separately so that it becomes clear. Okay, these are the 3 sets of merits and these are the 3 sets of demerits, one below the other. Do not mix it up. Okay. So create a heading, merits, write 3 points, create a heading, demerits, write 3 points under it. So this is how you will write the answer for 5 marks if both merits and demerits is asked. Okay. So if you remember to do all of these, and if you remember all these tips while solving your paper, it will help you score the best marks. And that is it. Thank you, students. Thank you for listening to me.